The global elevator industry generates over $120 billion a year, more than the entire music industry, more than Hollywood box office. Elevators, the metal box you stand in while avoiding eye contact with strangers. And that is not even the most boring sounding industry raking in obscene money behind the scenes. There are entire sectors of the economy printing billions while nobody pays attention, and the people who own them are laughing all the way to the bank. You're watching Wealth Ranked. Number 10. Parking lots. The US parking industry alone is worth over $30 billion annually. Think about what a parking lot actually is. You buy a piece of land, you pave it, you put up a sign. There is almost no inventory, minimal staff, and demand is practically guaranteed in any urban area. A single parking spot in a Manhattan garage can generate $15,000 to $20,000 per year in revenue. The profit margins can exceed 60%. LAZ Parking, one of the biggest operators in the US, pulls in over $2 billion annually. And that is not even the craziest part. The fastest growing segment is airport parking, where captive customers have zero alternatives and will pay $40 a day without blinking. You literally make money while people fly to other countries. Number 9. The funeral industry. People will always die, which makes this the one industry with a permanently guaranteed customer base. The global funeral market is worth over $130 billion. In the US alone, the average funeral costs between $7,000 and $12,000. Service Corporation International, the largest funeral company in North America, operates over 1,900 funeral homes and almost 500 cemeteries, generating over $4.2 billion in annual revenue. Their profit margins hover around 25%. Caskets alone are a $2 billion annual market, and the markup is staggering. A casket that costs the manufacturer $300 routinely sells for $3,000 to $5,000 at the funeral home. Grief is, unfortunately, one of the most profitable emotions in capitalism. People do not comparison shop when they are burying their mother. But here is where it gets wild. The pre-need segment, where people plan and pay for their funerals in advance, now accounts for billions in forward revenue, essentially locking in customers before they even need the service. Number 8. Waste management. Trash is a gold mine. The global waste management industry is worth over $530 billion. Waste Management Inc., the largest player in North America, has a market cap exceeding $80 billion and generates close to $20 billion in annual revenue. The business model is elegant. Cities sign long-term contracts with waste companies. Those contracts auto-renew. Switching providers is complicated and expensive, so customer retention rates are absurdly high, often above 90%. Landfills are the real treasure. A single active landfill can generate tens of millions per year in tipping fees. And because permitting new landfills is nearly impossible due to environmental regulations, existing landfill owners sit on assets that only increase in value as capacity shrinks. Warren Buffett has repeatedly called waste management one of the best business models in America. Number 7, mattresses. The global mattress market is worth over $45 billion and climbing. Tempur Sealy, the largest mattress company, has a market cap of over $10 billion. But the real story is margin. A mattress that costs $200 to $300 to manufacture regularly sells for $1,000 to $3,000 at retail. That is a markup of 500 to 1,000%. This is why there are more mattress stores than you think logically should exist. A single mattress store needs to sell only about 20 mattresses per month to be profitable. The direct-to-consumer brands like Casper and Purple disrupted the model briefly, but the legacy players adapted fast. Sleep Number generates over $2 billion annually with margins that would make a pharmaceutical company jealous. And the replacement cycle is short. Experts recommend a new mattress every 7 to 10 years, meaning the entire population is a recurring revenue stream on a decade-long loop. Number 6. Elevator and escalator companies. 4 companies control roughly 70% of the global elevator market: Otis, Schindler, Cone, and TK Elevator. Otis alone generates over $14 billion in annual revenue. Here is the genius of the model. Building a new elevator is profitable, but that is not where the real money is. Maintenance contracts are. Once an elevator is installed, it requires regular servicing for its entire lifespan, which can exceed 50 years. These contracts generate recurring revenue with margins above 30%. Otis derives over 60% of its revenue from maintenance, not new installations. And since building codes require functioning elevators in any structure above a certain height, demand is literally built into the law. Every new skyscraper is a customer for life. Urbanization means more tall buildings, which means more elevators, which means more maintenance contracts, which means these companies are essentially collecting rent on vertical transportation forever. Number 5, industrial gases. Air Liquide, Linde, and Air Products collectively dominate the industrial gas market, worth over $100 billion. These companies sell oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and other gases to hospitals, factories, food processors, and electronics manufacturers. Linde's market cap exceeds $200 billion, making it one of the most valuable companies most people have never heard of. The supply agreements are typically 15 to 20-year contracts. The switching costs are enormous because the gas supply infrastructure is physically built into the customer's facility. Once you are the supplier, you are essentially locked in for decades. Profit margins in this industry exceed 20% consistently, and the tailwinds are enormous. The hydrogen economy, semiconductor manufacturing, and healthcare all require more industrial gases every year. Number 4, flavors and fragrances. Givaudan, a Swiss company you have almost certainly never heard of, has a market cap of over $45 billion. They create the flavors in your food and the fragrances in your perfume, your soap, your detergent. The top 4 companies control over 50% of a market worth roughly $35 billion annually. Every time you taste something processed or smell something manufactured, these companies made money. Switching flavor suppliers is extraordinarily difficult because consumer products are built around specific taste and scent profiles. Change the formula, consumers notice. Sales drop. This gives suppliers enormous pricing power. Givaudan's gross margins regularly exceed 40%. They are the invisible supply chain behind almost every consumer brand on Earth. Number 3, credit bureaus. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion operate what is essentially a legal oligopoly on your financial identity. The global credit bureau industry generates over $15 billion annually, but the real power is in the data. These 3 companies hold credit files on over 1 billion people worldwide. Banks, landlords, insurers, and employers all pay to access this data. The profit margins are absurd, regularly exceeding 30%. Experian's market cap exceeds $45 billion, and the data moat is nearly impenetrable. Building a competing credit bureau from scratch would require decades and cooperation from every financial institution simultaneously. The regulatory barriers to entry are mountainous. These companies monetize your financial behavior without paying you a cent for the data, and there is almost nothing you can do about it because opting out means you cannot get a loan, rent an apartment, or in some cases get a job. Number 2, payment processing. Visa and MasterCard are not banks. They do not lend money. They do not take deposits. They simply operate the network that moves money between banks when you swipe a card. And for this service, they skim a tiny percentage of every transaction on Earth. Visa's market cap exceeds $500 billion. MasterCard is over $400 billion. Together, they process over $20 trillion in transactions annually. Visa's net profit margin is approximately 50%. Half of every dollar of revenue drops to the bottom line. They have almost no physical assets, no inventory, and no default risk. The business model is so obscenely profitable that Charlie Munger called Visa the single best business in the world. And as the global economy shifts from cash to digital payments, their revenue grows automatically without them doing anything differently. And number 1, enterprise software licensing. Microsoft does not make most of its money from Windows or Xbox. It makes it from enterprise software, specifically Microsoft 365 and Azure cloud subscriptions. Microsoft's commercial cloud revenue alone exceeds $120 billion annually. Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, and Adobe all run the same playbook. Get businesses hooked on your software ecosystem, make switching prohibitively expensive, then raise prices incrementally every year. Adobe went from selling Photoshop for a one-time fee to charging $23 per month per user. Their revenue nearly quadrupled. The gross margins in enterprise software regularly exceed 70%. 70%. That is more profitable per dollar than drug trafficking, and it is completely legal. These companies are embedded so deeply in global business operations that removing them would be like performing open-heart surgery on the economy. And that is exactly the point. The biggest money is never in the flashy industries. It is in the boring, invisible, essential ones that nobody thinks to compete with. If you want to build wealth, study where the margins are, not where the headlines are. Subscribe for more new episodes every week. You're watching Wealth Ranked.